You hear me?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, page Yud. Okay, finish with two questions about Toyu. The two questions. Number one, why do we say that Kelim Mo'otim is a problem? And number two, why does it affect the earth? Sure, Masras Hatam, page Yud, Hatam. והנה נודעין ידוע בשרש עניין מבחינת ארץ Toyu. What is the so explain this? What is the point? What is the sherish Toyu? When it's yes, but the concept of Toyu is that it's an array of yesh dvar. Because Toyu means the expression, for example, Chesed means the full force of Midas Chesed. Like we learn another memory, like Keches and Elomim. Just an Elomim are based galus, and the person is in an extreme state. Simchas Bnei Yechidai. Or the opposite, when the person is in a state of danger. So then the sphere, these midas are expressed in a very extreme way. So the extreme means that anivas is very full yeshus. That each of the midas is expressed in a full state of yeshus. That's say first it speaks about the is lamaila. Here's the time is yesh v'amah. Like in our own experience, it's a person is in a very strongest excitement, so it makes a lot of noise, and it's a flame. Yesh very, very expressive type of being, of existence. Lachain, so the Hagar gives a whole explanation, which is a little long. It's all the way till the bottom of the page. Lachain gam bebiron, and this is the term of Atlamai, Pasalas Mandashem Ban, because the errors that tell you by definition are yesh, it's yeshus, mispilas, what's the lesson? Not mispilas, kamois pas. Yeshus, kamois pas, lachain, the way that Bill and works is Slavas Berishpeish. It's in a state of excitement, like flame fire. As opposed to the real Bill of the Nitzutzis, because the Nitzutzis come from Earth the Toy. The essential state of being is Yesh. Yesh, Yesh, and the Dvarma, which means full of a strong expression of being. That is why its bill, its elevation, is also through a void of Islavas Rishpesh. Mashenken Tachlis Abitl Shema, then that's Toy. Mashenken the in of Tikkun is Shema is Tachlis Abitl. Shubekrius v'nachas. It's in a state of coldness and passivity. L'mayla megeder Slavs. So he divides the experience, the Avodas Hashem, two types. There is the Slavos who Slavos Rish Be'esh, fiery type of inspiration. And the second type is more passive and bit. Murder, martial. So in this point, he just spoke very enough. Shot. What is it? Martial. B'nefesh adam b'avedas Hashem. How does it work in the nefesh adam b'avedas Hashem? When the way a person contemplates and meditates about the greatness of the Eirishter, in a way that he really understands and comprehends and analyzes in his mind all the details of the greatness of the Eibishter. So this type of this type of contemplation triggers a feeling of Ava Karish Peish, very strong emotional fire. I am Ashkasa Bibazer Tazir, and Kasas Natar, הגם שזה הבחינת תויר בקדושה ממש. So again, the way he's described our creation, it's a very fiery type of excitement, of emotion. So fiery means that his ego is part of it. He's very excited about something. We're not talking about ego, which is negative. It's good and it's holy. This is the way it's expected to be. Not only that, that's the only way you can elevate and transform and cleanse the nefesh habahamis, but when they get nefesh habahamis excited. The way you elevate the nefesh habahamis only to kirish be'esh. Eish ha'kedusha seref. The Eish HaKedusha seref mechaleth eish l'umaz. In that type of avodah, the Eish HaKedusha, the fire of the flame fire of this emotional connection and feeling inspiration, feeling of love to the Eibishter, burns the Eish l'umaz. Only that way. That's the only way to actually elevate the nefesh habahamis, because nefesh habahamis has its own fire of l'umazeh. So the way you undo it, by the eish l'kedusha. Kol makom is a nefesh l'pnius yesh. Still, in other words, it's a positive thing. The tov kedusha, and that's the only path to elevate nefesh habahamis. Now, the other ways don't elevate. The other way you just overpower nefesh habahamis. You overpower nefesh habahamis, for that you don't need the eish. But in order to elevate, in other words, to take the excitement of the type of nefesh habahamis and elevate it, for that we need the eish of kedusha. So but it's a positive thing. But compared to the feeling that the results of koyach chochma, this is yeshus. Because koyach ma'ashem is bat mikol v'kol b'kriyos v'nachas she'ein b'koyach le'islayim. The bittul of chochma, the bittul of the state of being that's a result of chochma is bittul. Bittul means that there's no excitement, there's no fire here. Ein b'koyach le'islayim. You don't have the person doesn't have the strength because he doesn't feel that he's excited. He just feels nullified. He's bottled. He feels that there's nothing that they so there's no person, there's no yesh who should be excited about something. Because there's nothing. He brings in the language of shtachavo. And Chassidus talks about says in davening that I think it's a mus. It's a mus of Yontiv. What is l'ishtachvis? So Chassidus explains that l'ishtachvis means that there's a very high level of bittul. The bittul, like the but it just brings in the lashon shtachavo. Point is kriyos v'nachas. Okay, so described here in the middle of Chatzi Eagle, which he wants to strengthen the point he made before the Chatzi Eagle, before the parentheses, that the Eres the Toyu are in a state of excitement. He says this is why the beer of the Eres the Toyu is also to excitement. Shenkel Chochma is above it. So that's what he's saying. I know what is the reason that the beer of man, the beer of the Nefesh Habahamis is only, which Nefesh Habahamis comes from the Nitzutzes the Toyu. What's the reason he needed you need to be mavar to his pilots, not chochma is above. Eigentlich alos man the ban. Finas eres the toy because the alos man of ban, which is the pure Hashem is that's eres the toy. Shem plus yesh mogish. Can be it's the toy. The star was very page down. Yes, this is like a little bit of a side detour, but to emphasize the point that the eres the toy were in a state of yesh. Val kein nikoim with eres the toy because eres takifim v'chazokim. So it says the Lashon in Kabbalah that the earth of Torah was strong and powerful. It's also called Melucha. It's called kingship. What is a king? A king, someone is very powerful. And when we describe, a certain experience, so you can describe it in various ways. Let's say a person experienced chesed. When the Torah is maram is on the Zayin Malchin the Torah, what does it say in Pasuk in the Sof Parshas Vayishlach? Ve'ela Melochim Hashemalchu Ve'eretz Eden Fnei Meloch Malach Fnei Yisrael. So these are the psukim that the Arizal in Yitzchayim and Kabbalah uses to explain that they describe the union of the Zayin Malchin the Torah. So again, like Malchin the Lashon is there's a Meluch. Which goes of them Va'imlech. So Va'imlech, each of the Zayin Malach says Imlech. What does the Imlech mean? The Imlech means Takifim v'chazokim. They're not just there, they're not just functioning, they're king, they reign, which is an expression of strength. So that strengthens the point that we made that the Torah is going to see Yeshus. But Ano Emlech. There's also an expression in Kabbalah, not just in Kabbalah, I think the Kabbalah talks about it in there's the Torah. That each one said, I want to be king, which is also an expression of Yesh. Liyos came because the.
I'm sorry. Here is saying that's last man the ban. It doesn't say man uban. It's saying man the ban.
Of course, man the ban. A lost man. The law of the Mayim Nukvin, the law of Mayim Nukvin ban. Ban is the shame. The ban is the nitzutzis, the way they fell. The nitzutz, the Mayim Nuk man the ban. The lost man, you mile the Mayim Nukvin of the shame ban. Shame ban is like he said earlier. Shame ban. Shame ban is malchus. So just an expression. Lost man the ban means the lost and nitzutzis milmata l'mayim.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, yes, came because that's the case. That the earth, the Torah, and the state of Yeshus, has takifim v'chazokim melochim v'nefilas v'elis ha'olamata. What happens when these earths of Torah are neifel v'yer lamata? They fall and they descend lamata. Nimsha b'ribei shtash zeviyah. So what happens to the Ribei Shtarshus, to a lot of descent and called devolution. What happens is this when it's yesh gomo, it turns into real yeshes. The yeshes of the Toyo, like it says in the marshal of the postman's base pilots. It's yeshes the Gdusha. It's a positive type of yeshes. Like we said, the Midas Chesed says, I'm the one who expresses the Eibishter's Chesed. So it's chesed the kedusha. It's not a yeshes which is nifot from elikus. It's a yeshes to express that this midah is very full. It feels very strongly. It's mila that expresses the Eibishter's chesed. The same thing gvur and all the other midas. So it's yeshes the kedusha. Eventually, through the ishtarshalus, the filas to the shvira. That turns into yesh gomer, real yeshus. Gas is mamish. It's crudeness and it's ego. So it turns into something negative again. Wow, like you said, in the way it's in the world of toyu, it's tachas hatoyv. Like I said, when yeshus there means not chesed doesn't say. I'm a separate being. I'm chesed of the Eibishter. The Eibishter is Gedula. But the Gedula is emphasized very much. It's very strongly emphasized. The ultimate chesed is me, is the chesed of the Eibush. But the chesed, the tzir of chesed is expressed as an important being. So that's a very subtle type of yesh. It's yeshus in the sense that it's fully expressive. But what does it express? Like he says, it was bittul skaz matzil, and it expresses elikus. Aber bei yesh, when it's yesh mogish, because in that level, is in the state of yesh, which is obviously a very subtle yesh. When es ist beiles, al kein yemotem, selber matem, es soll sagas, period mamish. The way it transforms after the ishtalshalos, after all the tzimtzumim, the way it turns out to be a mamish yeshus, real ego. We learned a few times the famous marshal Tzidus brings, and a person davens and is in a very high state of excitement and connection to the Eivishter, but because it's all about him, because it's still himself expressing Kalikus, and then he sees the guy, someone next to him, the talking or something else, he gets angry, yells at him. That's already the opposite. That's Yeshus the Lumas, Kas. It's one of the Meshalim, how something very, very positive, because it's like a positive feeling. It comes out of devotion. But because it's Yeshus, so that can turn into something negative. Like it says, Yeshmug Pseilas Agasis. It's the dredges of the crudeness. There's period mamish. That separates it from the Eivishter. It gets angry at someone else. That means he's full of himself. So that's the opposite of Beetle. The sag is gas. That is merumas in the fact that we just said earlier in the previous page that the Olam HaTorah is shem sag. So sag turns into gas. Gas means crudeness. So the sag, the shem sag, the high level turns into gas. V'gam, another name is given for this concept of another name. It's not just another name. It's another way to express this point. Because what we said now, in a way, we said before, Ava Krishpesh. So that, like I just all along spoke about Chesed. This is an expression of the Chesed of Torah. That the Chesed of Torah can turn into something Yeshus. Similarly, there's the Gvur. The Gvur is also the Gvur of Torah. Not the Gvur. The Yeshus is not called Gvur, it's cautious. It's a very harsh judgment. Shenistafa b'biyah, the fact that there's Gvur is cautious in biyah, and biyah means in our reality, it's a shosh, but it's Gvur is takif mechazak in the Torah, shenafel al matamat. So again, similar, just like we said about Chesed, saying about Gvur, that the Gvur of Torah turns into Gvur is cautious, turns into. So he shows us two sides. There's the Yeshus part and there's the Gvur part. The Yeshus means there's the ego and there's the Gvur, the judgment. מצד שוש, אבל אז גבור עם תקיף, נעזק את התויר, כשנפל למטה מה. ואף ביחד שלם הפרס פסלס דין כושר בתויר, זה תויר עצמו, תויר גופו, we cannot call it דין, פסלס דין כושר. The dredges, the psalus of the din kosher voice in Torah. It's not psalus. The kish ancient Torah is psalus chas v'shalom. In Olam HaTorah itself, there's no psalus. There's no negative side to it. Elarak nesheshom Torah v'gvur. It's like dusha because the way the gvur in Torah is, but toike, like I said earlier, takifim v'chazokim, the judgment is very strong because that expresses the chavaya gvur. This is the Eivishter's gvur, and Eivishter's gvur is infinite and very strong. Mizeh is taif lamate b'ridas abem oid din kosher. So that turns through the ishtarshlus, all the tzimtzumim, into din kosher, into harsh judgment, in an evil sense. That's an expression in Zohar. It becomes the tzur, what is the tzur? The strip that you punish with. So the concept of punishment. There's no evil coming. It's a pasuk. We just said it to him. The Gemara says pshat in pasuk. There's no evil out there. They tell you. Amipnei koyach hadin v'atzim from the shom nimsham was on the matter b'yach was gevurus kosh. So we described these two types. The way the strength of Toyu is still in the middle. The strength of Toyu in the Ishtarshlus, it turns into the Kifas of Toyu, turns into Yeshus and Gvurus Kosh. But then it says, מפני שאף על פי כן יש כוח הדין הקושר באלם על כפונים, גם פלוס גבורס עליין is the band that Toyu, because the potential, the band, the potential that the Gvurus Koshas are there in Toyu in a state of potential. Al Be'elem, Shein Loiken, if they wouldn't be in a state of potential Be'elem, Loinim Sham Istamem Dina Kosh Gabalim Be'elem Samadregas. So there wouldn't be any, there wouldn't, if there would be zero, there wouldn't exist there in the state of potential, it would never express itself even to B'tzimtzumim in the Din Kosh. That's why the tikkun that happens when we fix to the Avodas Hashem. There's a tikkun, the tikkun of the Toyu. It fixes not only what came out of it in the Elos Biyah to the Shvira, it's also the original. It's also fixed because the fact that the original has the potential to turn into negative energy, that means that there's some kind of flaw there too. So even that needs fixing, and that happens. The Shema Chodosh, again, so there's some Shema there. Like I said, there's Sag Ma and Ban. Then there's Ma Stam is Mesakin Ban. Ma Chodosh is Mesakin Sag. Okay, he throws in this Kabbalah Musagim here. What is he bringing out? It brings out the important point. But let's finish the sentence. What is the Mesakin Li? Shema the Toipness, I'm being Matan Kama Shema the Tikkun. The Ma Chodosh makes that the ban Shebesag and Toya should also be in a pure state of bittul. No, they shouldn't even have the potential for Gvurus Koshas. What
is a chodosh?
Like I just said, there's Shema Stam is Mesakin Ban, but Shema Chodosh is a higher level of Shema. That's Mesakin even Shem Sag. It's Mesakin the Toyu even Lifnei Shviras. That's the Chiddush. It's called Shema Chodosh. That's the expression of Kabbalah. What?
What's the difference between a chodosh and not a chodosh? What makes it a chodosh?
That me, I don't know. But it's a higher madrega. The Shema, and the Shema Chodosh is a higher madrega than Shema. It comes from a higher level. So that's Mavar, even Shem Sag. But today, She'ir B'Yecheles Shema L'Sag and Tchinas Ban the Toyu, which Chodosh Utzavis from this Ashvir Tchila from this Ban, Shtoch Allah v'Hag from this taking the Shema, from this Bitla Mita from this Ein Mamish. I'm sorry, I'll just read it. Him loya from this Ashvir Tchila Ban the Toyu, loya Mizbach Kol Hadei from this Madatik. Okay, so we finish with Toyu and Tikkun now. Now he's going to go into a long Arichas about Chochma and Bina, which we're still in the middle of. Okay, so the last sentence he said is like a very, I mean, we tried understanding it in the much. It's like the closest marshal we have is It's a little not. It's not like such a direct mashal. We learned in other places from Siddur that in order for the teacher to reach deeper within himself, he has to teach the Talmidim. No. So in our case, in order, the way they describe it, Olam HaToyu, over there is it's yeshus. There's yesh. There's the philus and there's the gvuras koshes, right? The fact that, but it's all the kedusha. It's a source for lumas. And I didn't say the word lumas. It's a source for the gvuras koshes in biyah. Now, so he says the fact that it's in the state of potential, the way it is in Olam HaToyu, it has this potential. What is it? Behelm HaKapanim, the Koyach Din Kosher exists in Toyu before the Shvira, exists in a state of potential, the potential that should turn into Gvuras Koshes, which actually applies, I think, also to what he said earlier about the yeshes of the Toyu contains Behelm, the yesh gomer that turns into, so even that level needs fixing because the yesh has to go away. Even the potential goes. How does that happen? He says, because there's a shvira, because it expresses itself to a shvira, and the shvira turns into yesh gomer and gvuras koshes. And then comes the shema as mevar the gvuras koshes, mevar the yesh gomer. In a way, that's Hashem means mevar nefesh ba'amis. So that in turn brings up the Shema Chodesh to fix the original, fix the potential also. That's shtickle. In other words, it's a certain aspect of the Yachas of Torah and Tikkun that we didn't. I don't remember we learned it in the other Maimorim. We had very long Maimorim. First of all, Vayigdal Hanar and Samachay, which is like the basic Maimor of Torah and Tikkun of Chassidus, and then in Ein Aleph we had a few Maimorim. Discussed Torah and Tikkun, you can remember the Maskil, there's a few Amorim. But this aspect that he just says now, I don't remember that this point was not, I think, made that in other words, that the shvira is part of the process. There has to be a shvira in order to be able to fix the potential.
What is the shvira doing? Why is the shvira making it ready?
Because the shvira creates the real yeshus, real gvuras koshes. The mainly you have to mevar the gvuras koshes, and when you mevar gvuras koshes, that also is mevar also the source of the gvuras koshes. That's how he describes it here. If
there will be no shviro,
yeah.
the tikkun would not be able to mevar because there's nothing what to mevar. It's behelm.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't say, yeah, maybe what he's saying is, yeah, because behelm, there's no build, it's just a state of potential. So, in other words, in that madriga, there's no state of build. Yeah, it's a little bit. You're right. That's what I'm saying here. That it's a no concept he's saying, which is quite subtle. So that's why the best marshal I was able. That's why I gave you a marshal from something which is a different world, but it's similar to this concept because you teach Talmidim and the Talmidim ask you questions, which is it's like almost like a shvira. So that makes the teacher go much deeper. That's why we say that makes the teacher going deeper and fix the svara the way it's in his head and his original. Originally, the fact that originally he had this svara without fixing the question means it was lacking that depth, right? This depth you only get to the Talmidim. That's a much. Similarly, in this case, to the shvira and the bill of the nitzutzos, you fix the original source of the gvuras koshes. That's the closest marshal I can think of to put it in words. But the way it's
even this is fixing even the sag,
right?
That would not be spoiled by the shviro, didn't change by the shviro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the whole point. said Pnei Shavak and Yesh Kerbin Kosher Behelem. I was also a tikkun. But when this happened, the tikkun is happens only after there's a shvira, because there's the front is a shvira. Just like I said in the marshal of the teacher, when the teacher doesn't have a talmud and doesn't have nobody asking questions, so it doesn't occur to him that he has to go deeper. Because he goes down and turns into real bad stuff, so he's fixed it. So he's fixing also the original, he's fixing the helm, the bekaya. So this is the idea that is being out here. It's very okay. So we finished, so to speak, with Toya. How did we get into the whole Toya thing? Because he started talking about Mao Ban, and he said that his Mao Ban is Toya and Tik. Ban is Yesh and Ma is Ayin. And he says the whole point, the Yesh is to be Mizbar. One second. How did he get into this Mao Ban? The Mao Ban was because he wants to explain the Zerb, what the Zerb. One thing brings to another. But eventually, it's going to come back to all this. Like I said, we're in the middle of a hemshech of 3 Maimorim. This Maimor, we're in the middle of the second Maimor. And the third Maimor is going to finish the puzzle, which should all more or less fit. Now he's starting a totally new discussion about Chochma Bina, quite a long arichas about that. Bir Advorim, so to understand what we just discussed, these two levels of Ma'oban, Ayin V'yesh, Toya and Tikkun. So we're going to bring another level, another concept in Ayin Yesh, which will eventually clarify what we learned until now. In Yesh La'agdim, in Yepnes Chochma Bin, Shem Pnes Ayin V'yesh. There's another, till now we spoke at Ma'oban in a lot of examples. But there's another way that Ma'oban is being described in Chassidus, which is Chochma Bin Ayin V'yesh. The Chochma of Chinas Koyach Ma. Chochma is Ayin, that's why it's Koyach. Mashma is Ma Bli Mahus. Ma means, what is it? It's not something we know what it is. It's Ayin, it's nothingness. Bina plus Yesh. Mashengen Bina is considered Yesh. Okay, he's going to explain soon how we see it in the experience. But generally speaking, we all know the Chochma Bina. Chochma is the bork. Chochma is the spark, the innovative spark, which is not tangible. Bina means you described it's described, it's explained, it's comprehended and analyzed. That's something which is yesh, tangible. Brings a pasuk, brings Kosovo lahanchil oya yesh. That's again, like there's a few ways how lahanchil oya yesh relates to Bina, but the most I think the most obvious one is lahanchil oya yesh. Talks about Elamaba, right? We said in the Siyam Mishnais. Also, because Baruch Lasel Kalecha Shai Elamas never Anfal Oyever yet. So the Elamaba is being considered Bina. I don't know. So maybe that's call it. The Pasuk Anfal Oyever talks about Bina. So that's a general, like we said, that itself is like a very general introduction to the topics we're going to talk about. Chochma and Bina is Ayin and Yesh. Chochma is Ma and Bina is Yesh. Now he's going to start developing, elaborating this concept. The Chochma is that power, that attribute the Nefesh Elokis has, that it can analyze and understand and innovate Elikus in the way of Istaklis, the way of pure seeing and observation. In our case, we talk what exactly does he see? You see that the whole world is created yesh ma'ayin. Able to create everything from nothing. How is he creating it? So the Savas itself, the Re'iyah of Chochma captures how the Savas of Olam is in a way of it's a paradox. There's two opposites. Another way, and the Savas the Koyach HaPoel that energy, the likus, poil, which functions, which executes is command to create. So that's melubash in the nifal. That's to be invested in the nifal in order to function, in order to to act what he wants to do. We call at the same time because Havdalah and plus Esther many. So that's one way, one part that Chochmah sees. He sees the way the creation operates. The creation has two opposite modes. It's slapshus benifal. At the same time, it's Havdalah, separated because even like it says, if it will be based galus, if the koyach hapel benifal, if the godly energy that creates us would be revealed, we wouldn't exist. We would be bottled. So there has to be two opposite modes in tandem together. Another thing that there is boin and hadei savas is the way is when it's ein mamish go to mitzias klal. Shkos makamach ba'erif. And we see that in truth, and the words within Esav is bottom a little bit, okay. That really, we are not bottom of Mitzias. We ain't Mitzias klal. But Echshu Kaidum Sheniva. Kaidum Sheisav. I'm sorry, Kaidum Shenisav. And everything is really like it was before. I don't actually know what Sheniva. The world, from the Abel's perspective, nothing changed. So all these aspects of creation. Number one, that they have the two opposites, the Benifal and Avdola, and the other point that it's Prince Ein Mamish. All this in the Chochmah is bein sichloi, ki ilaroi b'riyach chushis. So in the Madrega of Chochmah, he sees it with his mind's eye. He sees that aspect of his creation of the world. He sees it as if he sees it with his eye, with his physical eye, with his sense, with a sense of sight. Similar to what it says about la'asid lavoi. What does the pasuk say? See, v'nigla kvayt avai v'ro kol basa. The basa, the flesh, which means the physical eye, will actually see godliness. So that's the way it's in koyach hachach. V'zeu shenika v'istakola b'kol the malka. That's also described in Zoya, to view the glory of the king, which means to view God, the Eibush Elikus, seeing God. This is a type of experience that cannot be expressed and elaborated in words, in intellectual analysis. And when Isama says but it's just a matter of that this is, he feels it's certified in his mind what the truth is. The Eberster is the source of everything, and not everything is insignificant for him. And that is also expressed in the Chacham Chazal. Eiza Chacham Haroye Sanoil. Sharoye Sanoil Mein Liyesh. He sees it. He sees that everything is created out of Yesh. Loish Masig Vasog Bilvad. Nikamavin Bebina. It's not just like someone who understands with with a formula, with an analysis, comprehension. It's more than that. Means an interesting dogma. What's the dogma? When a chacham, when a wise person innovates some new idea, he comes up with an innovation which is above safe. It's something that cannot be really captured and safe. She'ein ha'sechel machayv is davar zeh. There's no formula, there's no analysis that forces you to think, to understand it a certain way. Kom karoi adavar chachmose, she'iyeh zeh. He sees with his own eye how this is. Kiteva prince chacham beri makorev lir is prince hanela. The nature of chachma, the nature, was the other word for it? I don't know. The nature of chachma is to see things, to see with his mind's eye clearly the depth of something. But there's something which is hidden. It says in the bottom, remember I told you this, a lot of this text, the Rebbe Rashab copied from the Mittel Rebbe. So in the original, it says L'oira Neir. So I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know why it's missing it. But the point is, light, what does light do to a person? Something that's hidden, it shows it to you. So the same thing, Chachma is like Roim Loira Neir, Nova Nelvach. But Zeo Shenika Behirus. That's why light, one of the functions of light is brightness. What is brightness? The godly oil shines and is bright in the Meir Chachma, which is them the shiur bein haseichel. Chinas Mo'us ve'atzos adova כמו שבעצם המיתוסי, שיהיה אפשר להעביר בהסבר שכל וסוגר כלל. So he described, like I said, it's very much the signal of the Mittel Rebbe. He broke it down, he repeated this experience. Frankly, I don't know if one. I can speak for myself. I don't know if I have experienced this exact type of understanding things, but in conceptually we can understand such a concept exists that you're exposed to an idea in a way that it's above analysis. You just see the thing as is. Not it's a type of perception of something which can't even explain. We usually talk about it in feelings. You have a feeling that you can't express in words. That's something that we speak in our day-to-day operation, in day-to-day life. Here he's talking about an intellectual type of experience that you perceive a certain idea in a way, you can't put it in words. He can't describe it, can't put words to it. So that's the way it is in the intellectual experience of Chochmah. So now we spoke about the intellectual part, the re'iyah, the seeing, comprehending godliness in a direct way, which is impossible to explain. And as a result of that, the feeling of beetle that results from that re'iyah is also beetle b'mitzias mamish.
So what's the the re'iyah b'karo? But this is not b'karo. So that's not, so if you don't understand, cannot explain it, so it's not karo really, it is rachuk more, no?
Okay, but the lashon of karo and rachuk is because he's going to talk later. The difference is re'iyah and shmiya. Re'iyah is mikorim and shmiya is mirachuk. Because re'iyah means something that there's proximity. That the kill of the karo is part of re'iyah. Re'iyah is something you see with your own eyes. So it must be within your. In other words, the word mikorim is. The word mikorim in this context means that you experience a closeness to it. It's very clear and close to you. That's what mikorim means. But as opposed to shmiya is something that's from far. It's something that happens somewhere else. You hear about it. You don't
There's a
hear
contradiction because it's in she'iyeh shel lahavinu behesber b'sechel. It
Yeah,
does
exactly.
not understand it, but by saying it's karo. So as you said, karo is something like more you see it more than shemiya. I mean, I'm just picking on the words, but maybe it's not.
Okay. Good. Look, you picked up the right point, but I said that the idea in general is hard for me to understand. I mean, it's a certain type of experience that you see something in such such clarity that you can't even explain it. So one of the ways we say it is mikorev. It's very close. It's like you feel yourself. It's like saying you can't explain your own being or something. It's so close to you. In that way, the korev part, explaining is something that's elaborate. It's more removed. It's like a very direct experience. That's what korev means. And again, all these words, korev, they're all ways of strengthening the direct connection. Okay. In other words, you have a good diuk here, but I think the word korev is not, it's something which is so strong you can't even explain it. That's the point. You're right. Sometimes korev means something that's close to you, so you can understand it. But here, korev means the way the opposite. Okay. All right. So continue, Blinel, tomorrow. Okay.
Shukayach.
Shukayach.